make sure you check out w.gg and look at all their products, their merch, their bottles, their energy drinks, any of it. The best tasting energy drinks you're going to find. Use code Shredder for 10% off your order, or click the link in the description of this video to take you right to it so you don't have to do any searching or guessing for yourself. Either way, let's get right into this video. Today we're ranking edge rushers, and we're just going to dive right into this because there are a lot of guys to get through here. Starting off, we're going to go mostly in order. We might jump around a little bit, but either way, I'm going to add a tier here actually, now that I'm just sitting here thinking about it. Add row above. Between, could be a 1, ideally a 2. This is a number 1 who's just not elite. Like, that's the difference here. They're good, they're really great, they're awesome, but they're not elite. I just felt like that's an instant tier that I didn't see earlier for some reason that I just saw now. Either way, let's get right into this. So, AJ Epinesa, I'm going to still put him in upside guy. He's a really solid player. That's about it. He does a little bit of everything. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not bad, but he's not great. I don't know if you want him as your number 2. He'd definitely be a good rotation guy, a good special guy, just to do whatever you need. But just, that's about it. Aiden Hutchinson, he is a perfect fit for this. Number 1, but not elite. Not yet. He will be elite very soon. Let's give him some time to develop. His rookie year was solid, not amazing. Last year was pretty great. Now we just need to see him continue to do that and be that, and he'll be fine. Alex Highsmith, I think he's a true number 2. Very solid, and, I'm glad to have him on my Pittsburgh Steelers. But at the same time, you're not just sitting here thinking that he's one of the best edge rushers in the league. He probably, the argument that does he benefit from TJ Watt like most secondary edge rushers do, like Bud Dupree used to do, I think that is beaten because last year when TJ Watt was hurt, Alex had a really great year, his best year overall when he didn't have anybody on the other side of him. So you could maybe you can argue him here, but I'm going to leave him right here. Arden Key is buns. Andrew Van Ginkel doesn't play for the Dolphins anymore, but I think he's a true number 2. He's not on the same level that Highsmith is, but he's not an upside guy. There should be a tier in here, but I'm not going to add another one. Really, he's like, he's just not as a dynamic and impactful player as Highsmith, but he's still very good, very solid. You're not upset about that at all. Azeez Ojulari, at this point, he's an upside guy. We're still hoping for more from him. It's just we're not there yet. Brian Burns, another guy who fits this. He's a number 1, but he's just not elite. He's very, very good. You're excited to have him, just not elite, nonetheless. Baron Browning, I think at this point he's probably like, I don't know. There needs to be another tier, to be honest. He's kind of similar to Andrew Van Ginkel. He's fine, but you're just not necessarily happy about it. I am gonna add one more tier. I apologize. It's like the baseline. This is like where, the lowest, like, you're okay. You're fine. Honestly, I think Andrew Van Ginkel and Baron Browning both fit in there. They're just the baseline. That's kind of where you want you to be. If you have that, you're not necessarily seeking out active replacements, but you're not necessarily loving it either. Bradley Chubb, he can be a 1 at times, but he's ideally a 2. In a situation you want him to be in, he's a 2. That makes sense a lot. Brandon Graham, this one, I don't even know where to put him. We're just going to put him baseline because he's like 70 billion years old and needs to retire, but he's not bad. He's just, you can't call him an upside guy when he's past his upside. Bryce Huff, got paid a lot to go to the Eagles. He's fine. He's definitely fine. I'm going to put him as probably still an upside guy. We haven't seen him do a whole lot because they've had a lot of guys in those positions, but that's where we are. Nick Bosa, he's one of the elite guys in the league for sure. Byron Young, very interesting. He's still going to be an upside guy to me. We've seen 1 year. And now that Byron Young, he's stepping in and Aaron Donald's leaving, let's see how really good he's going to be after this year. Going forward to Cam Jordan, I think at this point in his career, he's like a could be number 1, but ideally you'd want him as your 2 if you could get another guy that, if you can get another guy up above him, you'd be in a great situation. However, he's good enough to do your 1 if he has to do it. Calais Campbell, some of these guys aren't even edge rushers. They're just D linemen. We're not going to just necessarily diss them, but Calais Campbell, at this point, I'll put him baseline as well. He's what he is. Carl Granderson, he's a one-trick pony. He's just not that big of, impactful. He's just not that kind of guy. Charles Harris is probably the same way. Charles Omenihu, he's decent. But that's about it. He's pretty baseline, I guess. Dante Fowler, at this point, he's probably a one-trick pony as well. Danico Autry, he's like 35 too. I don't think he's quite on the same level as some of these guys. He's very much okay. He's not an upside guy. We're going to land him an upside guy just because he fits this tier better. You know, he's not really your 1. He's not really your 2. You don't want him as either. He's more of an interior guy anyways, but yeah, we'll just keep it there. Dennis Gardeck, he's a one-trick pony. We're not worried about him. Daniil Hunter, this is like fringe. He is like borderline elite, borderline number 1, not elite. We're going to leave him there for now, and we'll see what happens. DJ Wonnum, buns. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a 1, could be a 2. Like, I think in this situation, Parsons is obviously your 1, and he's elite. And with him at your 2, it's awesome. That's a great situation to be in. Could he play a 1 if he needed to? Sure, but he's not there. David Ojabo, upside guy, one-trick pony, could be either. Oda Igbo, probably one-trick pony. Dorrance Armstrong, probably the same. He's going to Washington now, where he'll get more play, but I just don't think he's all that great. Drake Jackson, upside guy still, but that's pushing it a little bit. Darrell Taylor, he's going to go one-trick pony. Ebiketie, I'll give him upside guy for now. We're going to, same thing with NUDK Uzoma. He didn't do anything, but that's fine. Any rookie basically is going to go here. Karl Loftus, I think he's a true number 2. I think you're really happy with him at your 2. You don't want this guy at your 1 at all. He's only as successful as he is, I think, because of Chris Jones being as dominant force as he is. He's very solid, but he's just nothing you want as your number 1. Greg Rousseau, that's an interesting one. I think he's among his breakout right now. He could be a 1. Ideally, you'd like him in your 2 spot, but he's fine. Derek Hall, one-trick pony. I know he's young, but I just don't see much. Is Justin Houston still in the league? Whatever. He's buns at this point. Harold Landry, he's been hurt a lot. I'll put him baseline. Josh Allen, ooh, he's 1, but he's not elite. He's definitely not elite. He's on him and Brian Burns are very similar. Joey Bosa, actually, not Bosa. Excuse me, Joey Bosa. He's a number 1. He's not elite. Definitely not elite. You may even argue him down a tier, but honestly, we're going to leave him there for now. Jadeveon Clowney, at this point, he's pretty much baseline. You're not upset about it. You're just not, peeling off the table for him, getting everything for him. JFM, I think he's baseline. He's more of an interior once again, but whatever. He's fine. Grenard, he's a true number 2. You don't really want him at your 1, and when you have him at your 1, but like at your 2, he's fine. That's good. James Houston, an upside guy still. Jermaine Johnson, we've seen some good things from him. He still kind of could be upside, but I think he deserves at least to be put up 1 tier. Jalen Phillips, I also think he's young enough where he's an upside guy, but in a very different way than any of these guys are. He has got a lot of upside still. I'm going to put him in this tier. Him and Bradley Chubb both. They're both like 2 number 2As right now. But Jalen Phillips could be a number 1 this coming year. Would not shock me. If he can just stay healthy, he could be very good. Will Anderson, right now he's in this tier. He's just got through with his rookie year. Let's not act like he's the best player to ever exist after his rookie year. Like, he had a very good rookie year. I think he's very good. He will be very good. He could be a 1 very soon. Ideally, right now, he's a 2. And he's going to this season as a 2 with Daniil Hunter on the roster. Josh Uche, upside guy. He does some good things, but that's about it. Kayvon Thibodeau, I think he's a true number 2 at this point. Eventually, he can hop himself up into this tier. But his sacks last year are like the most ridiculous wide open sacks you've ever seen. It's honestly incredible how he got that many sacks off of the exact same type of play coverage. It's just ridiculous. Kwity Paye, not really an edge, but baseline, he's fine. Hoked, he's like a role player. He's a one-trick pony. Lucas Van Ness, upside, we have not seen a thing from him. Sadly, I wish we had, but we just haven't. Khalil Mack, I think at this point in his career, he's a number 2. Max Crosby, he is elite for sure. Myles Garrett, obviously elite. Matt Judon could be a 1. Ideally, he's a 2. Very, capable. He's like DeMarcus Lawrence. Both capable, but you'd rather them be in a 2 spot and have a really good 1 and have a good duo. Miles Murphy, upside guy. We haven't seen anything yet. Montez Sweat, he's a true number 2. He's just not a number 1 guy. He's not done anything in his career to prove that. He's not a dominant force that people are just constantly scared of. Very good player. This isn't necessarily a ranked tier. None of these are right now. I think they go out and get a Dallas Turner if they're able to. and you land him and Dallas Turner or Jared Verse, and he's your 2 with one of those guys, absolutely astounding. Nick Benito, Buns, Nolan Smith, we haven't seen anything from him. And Uchenna Nwosu, he's kind of in between. Like, he's not an upside guy because I think he's hit his ceiling. He's just decent. He's between One Trick Pony and baseline. I'm going to put him down here, though. Odafe Owe, kind of a bust at this point. Kind of a one-trick pony himself. He had a decent year last year, but honestly, their whole defense did, so I'm not going to give him too much credit. Okoronkwo, one-trick pony. Preston Smith, he's pretty baseline at this point. I think, you know, that's a good spot to be in as your 2. As your 1, you're pretty upset about it, but not your 2. Peyton Turner, probably a one-trick pony at this point. Hassan Reddick, he's an interesting one. He just got, he got traded to where? The Jets. He can be considered a 1 but not elite. I think he's on that Brian Burns, Josh Allen tier. Not that these are not ranked once again. Rashawn Gary, he's a 1, but he's just not elite. Randy Gregory, Buns. Sam Williams, Buns. Boye Mafe. I'll put him as upside guy. I think he can do some more things than he has in his career so far. Samson Ibukam, he might be kind of baseline. He's decent, but I'll put him baseline. That's fine. Shaq Barrett, at this point in his career, he's pretty baseline. You know, I don't think any of these guys you want as your, like, dead set number 2, but they can be. But they definitely can be. And as your 2, you're okay with it. As your 1, you're in some trouble. But yeah, Sam Hubbard, he's baseline very much so. Trey Hendrickson could be a 1, but ideally he'd be a 2. If you had him as your 2, you'd be in a great spot once again. Basically, any of these guys, if you paired them with these, you'd have a great wrecking crew. Honestly, I'm doing that for Alex Highsmith too. He proved that last year when TJ Watt was hurt, that he belongs amongst this tier. He can do it on his own. These guys can do it on their own. They just would be so much better if you unlocked another level to them, like Alex Highsmith has. Josh Sweat, he's a one-trick pony. I don't know why they did that and brought him back. Tryon Chewinka, honestly, at this point, he's buns. He hasn't done anything. Tuli Tuipulotu, definitely an upside guy. We have not seen him do enough. Make sure this is small enough so y'all can see it because it's getting a little bit bigger. Almost at the end of the list. Trayvon Walker, he's only had 1 good year. I think at this point he's a true number 2, and that's a good place to be with him so far, considering what his first year looked like. TJ Watt is elite, no doubt about it. These guys are your 5 tops, no doubt about it. Tyree Wilson, he's still an upside guy. We have not seen yet near enough from him. Dimu KJ, I don't know if I'm considering upside, but honestly, I just think he's a one-trick pony. I don't think he has a ceiling. McDonald, terrible pick last year. What were they doing? Oh, I know it. They got jumped. That's what happened. I'll go ahead and say upside, but it ain't much. Zadarius Smith, he's pretty baseline at this point. Chase Young. Zadarius Smith, he can be a 2. He's a really good rusher. Definitely a really good rusher. Von Miller, at this point in his career, is probably a 2. Yannick Ngakoue, he's pretty baseline, I think. If he's your 2, you're fine. If you have somebody else, you'd be in a great spot. Yaya Diaby, I think he's definitely an upside guy. Chase Young, true number 2. The effort, though, you almost drop him to baseline just because of the effort he puts. Zaven Collins, very tough one here. I'm going to put him baseline as well. I think he could be decent. He just doesn't try enough as well. He's kind of in that same spot. So now we're going to rank some of these tiers a little bit. In the elite tier, TJ Watt is the best edge rusher in the league, and it's not debatable. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan, but this is not debatable. Can any of these guys drop into coverage as good as TJ Watt can? Okay, Micah Parsons can, but he can't stop the run as well as TJ can. No one can do the pass rush, the run stopping, and the pass coverage. TJ Watt does that combination better than any of these guys, and it's not close. Then it's probably Myles Garrett. Then I'd say Parsons, Bosa, Crosby. We just need to see Crosby do it more. I do respect the fact that he honestly does have a little bit less help than the rest of these guys. However, it doesn't necessarily matter. You're on an island. You're 1v1. The double percentage, if you think that's an argument, you're wrong. Go look it up yourself. I'm not going to explain it. But that is just an incorrect argument. This tier, I definitely think Daniel Hunter is the best one here. I do really like Rashawn Gary. I don't know about number 1. I like Hassan Reddick. I think Josh Allen, Joey Bosa, Brian Burns. I think that's how I like it. Daniel Hunter, Aiden Hutchinson, Rashawn Gary. Wow, 3 NFC North in a row. Hassan Reddick, Josh Allen, Joey Bosa, Brian Burns. This tier, I think at this point you can put Highsmith above at least all of these guys. He's got a little bit more twitch to him than Hendrickson and Chubb and Phillips. He's done more than Will Anderson so far. He's just a better overall player than Judon. Maybe even Rousseau. That one's debatable, though. We'll leave him here. I'll go that is decent. I'm not saying this is a perfect exact list of exactly how I think they'd be. But in this tier, we're not going to do much. All I know is I just don't want Karlaftis to be 1 and Grenard to be up there that high. He's not that great. Sweat can come up a little higher. He's done a little bit more than them. I like him there. I like Khalil Mack here. You got to give the respect to the older guys. Zadarius Smith as well. I think that's a pretty solid list. Either way, let me know what you think about this tier list down in the comments below. This is going to be a hot one. I know a lot of people disagree on edge rushers, but here's the thing. You can't debate TJ Watt. Myles Garrett doesn't do half of what he does on the field. Oh, yeah, he's a really good pass rusher. He's a really good run stopper. He can't drop into coverage at all. He's a liability. Either way, thank you guys for watching to the end. Appreciate you. Remember, these are just opinions, my opinions. We all got opinions, and every one of them stinks. So, it doesn't matter. Either way, I'll see you on the next video.